Hey crafters, welcome back to another Crafty Creations video with Kalisha. Today's wreath that we will be making is a special order wreath. I was asked to make a Friday the 13th theme wreath, so these are some of the things that I use. 21-inch deco mesh, red and black, a mask, some bones, some chains, some creepy cloth, a 14-inch wreath frame, and pipe cleaners. So let's get started on making our wreath frame. To make the wreath frame, I have decided to take pipe cleaners and put them in the center of each section. This is a 14-inch wreath frame that comes with 6 sections. You will take 6 pipe cleaners and place them in the center of each, and then take 2 more pipe cleaners in that same section and place them opposite of the one that you placed at the top. You should have a total of 3 pipe cleaners in your section. Once you have completely added all of your pipe cleaners, you should have a total of 18 pipe cleaners, 3 to each section. Now let's get started on cutting our deco mesh. Taking my red 21-inch deco mesh, I have decided to cut it into strips of 10 inches. I have decided to do the Jackie weave as my base for this wreath. I thought it would be cute to see the chain look. So yeah, let's get started on cutting. You will need a total of 12 of these 10-inch strips. You will do the same thing with your black 21-inch deco mesh. You will cut those at 10 inches, and also you will need 12 strips of that. When you're done cutting your deco mesh, you should have a total of 24 strips, 12 red and 12 black. Now let's get started on our base. First, you're going to take whatever color you choose to start with. I'm starting with my black deco mesh. So you're going to take it and roll it up as if you were making a curl. But instead of doing that, you're going to fold it in half where it looks like a ribbon to you. Fold in your ends to make it look clean. And then I counted out 5 inches so that I can know where I want my loop and my tails to be. And then I placed it on my wreath frame. I'm starting in the center and working my way out. Once you place your first one down, then you can go ahead and grab your next color. Since we're alternating colors, the next one will be a red. Now you're going to repeat the exact same step as you did with your black deco mesh. You're going to take your red and you're going to roll it up as if you were making a curl. And then you're going to fold it in half so that it looks like a ribbon. You're going to fold, once you fold it in half, tuck your deco mesh. And then you're going to take one end of your deco mesh and slip it through the hole in the ribbon. And then you're going to pull it through. And then you'll take both ends and tie them down into the next pipe cleaner. Do not completely tie down your your mesh because you're going to use that same spot to place your next mesh. So what you'll do is you'll roll your next black piece of 21-inch deco mesh into the curl and then fold it in half to make a ribbon, and then you'll place it on top of the red mesh but going opposite. So your tails will face the chains, we'll call them chains, and they'll face the chains, and then your loop will be in between the tails of the red. And then you'll just keep alternating your red black mesh until you are completely finished with your center row. Now to start on the second row, I have decided to alternate and start with my red deco mesh. But you will do the exact same thing that you did for your center. So you will fold it in half once you make your curl, forming your ribbon look. You will place it down in the first pipe cleaner, and then you will continue to alternate your colors, black, red, red, black, red, black, until you are completely around your wreath frame. Once you have added all of your deco mesh, you can then start moving your deco mesh around where your curls aren't like all one color next to the next other color, so you can switch them up, and this is what it'll look like. Then I grabbed my creepy cloth that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I draped it over my base, my wreath base, and then I started stretching it out to see how I would like to place it on there. Once I had it figured out on how much I was going to use and where I was going to place it, I then started pulling it, stretching it out so that I can tie it into my pipe cleaners that I did not cut off because I didn't cut any of them off. So I just stretched it out, and then I used that to tie it down. Once you have the cloth to your liking, then I started taking my pipe cleaners and putting them through the rings of the wire and bringing them towards the back so that I can tie them down and get them out of the way. I just twisted them around, and then I snipped it off a little bit, leaving a little on there, and then I folded it in half, and I just pushed it down so that they were out of the way. Now let's get started on making our mask, because it's a white mask and that's not what we're going to be using. So these are some of the paints that I use. It is the Apple Barrel from the Apple Barrel collection. I used a red, a brown, a black, and a cream, an antique off-white color. First, I sanded my mask down just to get that glossiness off of it so that the paint will stick a little better to it. And then after sanding it down, I started to do my painting. Once I was done sanding it off, I shook it and wiped it off with my hands to make sure I got any excess dust off of it. And then I started my painting. The first color I used was the antique color, and I'm not really like painting it on. I'm just taking my brush and dipping it in the paint and then just going over it lightly where you can kind of still see the brush strokes from the sanding also. And then after I applied that cream antique color, I then used my brown and I went over it with the brown, and I did the same thing, just lightly going over it here and there just to make it look a little more dirty, aged, I don't know. And then after adding the brown, I added some black. And after adding the black, then you can see that your mask is starting to come along. Now, you don't have to paint your mask if you don't want to, but I felt like the mask needed a little more depth to it. So after I painted on all those colors, I then grabbed a smaller tip paintbrush and I added the triangle that's above his eyes and then the two to the side. And then I added a little more red just throughout to make it look like there was a little blood there. After doing that, I then cut the straps that were in the back of the mask because we're going to use that to tie our mask down to the frame. I figured out where I wanted to place my mask on my wreath frame. I then stuck the elastic band through to the back and I tied it down. I tied the first two down and then the one at the top I added to those two that I tied down first, and that mask ain't going nowhere. So now let's add the rest of our decorations. I also picked up this bleeding machete from Walmart as well. I thought that would be a nice added piece to it. So at the top of it, it has a hole already from where the tag was. So I just added a pipe cleaner to that. And then I glued another pipe cleaner to the back of the blade. Once my glue was dry enough on the back of that blade, I then decided to figure out where I wanted to place my machete. After figuring out where I wanted to place it, I then put the pipe cleaners through to the back and I tied them down. After placing my machete, I then worked on my chains. I wanted to add a pipe cleaner to my chains without it really being seen. So I took a sharp object and I poked a hole through two of the chains. And since they're made of plastic, it was very easy. So then I just stuck a pipe cleaner through those holes. And then I tied one at the top of the wreath frame so that a chain will hang in between the machete and the mask. And then for the other one, I made it go over the machete towards the back of it, which you will see. After I got my chain secured, I then removed the bones that I had just hanging on there, and I punched a hole in the center of it. I added some hot glue in the middle, and then I stuck my pipe cleaner deep down inside of it. And then once that glue was dry, I added more glue over that just to keep it sturdy. And then we are able to place our bones wherever you would like to place them. To secure the bones down, all you have to do is take your pipe cleaner and tie them around your wreath frame wire, and that will keep them in place. And then you can, since it has your pipe cleaner in it, you can move it to wherever you would like and however you would like for your bones to stand out. I also added red paint to my bones just so that it would give the effect that there was blood on them. I also could not end this video without adding lights to this. So this is what our finished product looks like during the daytime. And then at night, when you turn those lights on, this is what it looks like. Thank you, crafters.